You're still watching Starting Point on TVRI World. And now we have come to the point that we've all been waiting for, to talk with another member of Indonesian diaspora living abroad. So Uli, as you know, we've been talking with a lot of Indonesians living abroad during the Ramadan month. I mean, you've had the experience of living abroad, and it's quite hard in itself to adapt to a new environment, to be far away from family. Now imagine doing that while fasting.
That should be an interesting interview. So let's talk to one of our viewers who's now residing in Illinois, United States of America. This is Keisha. Hello, Keisha. How are you today? Keisha, I think you're still on mute. Can you unmute your microphone, please?
Yeah,
It's
sorry
okay.
about
It happens. No worries.
That's great. Now you can listen to you loud and clear. So, Keisha, how long have you been living in the United States?
So this is my second year here.
Oh, this is your second year. So tell us a little bit about yourself, which part of Indonesia that you came from, and what are you doing in the United States? What are you studying, and what kind of subjects that you're studying at the moment?
Okay, I'm from South Jakarta, and currently I'm studying integrative biology honors with a minor in chemistry.
Wow. Okay, biology and in a minor of chemistry.
That sounds really interesting. And Keisha lives in Illinois.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about where you live now. I heard it's such a beautiful place to live.
Where exactly in Illinois are you, Keisha?
Yeah, I'm in Urbana-Champaign. It's very agricultural for sure. There's lots of corn farms, lots of farm animals, farms too. It's a nice little quaint little town in Illinois.
Okay, so it must be quite a difference between that and South Jakarta, where you're from. What was it
Well,
like?
at least the
on
traffic
that
must be different, you know. At least there's
Right?
no traffic there, I assume.
Other than traffic of animal farms.
Right.
I suspect. Please tell us more about your life there and how you've been adapting to
We're
it.
dying to hear your story.
Yeah, well, it's really different from Jakarta. South Jakarta, of course, like it's not a big city. It's just a small little town. It gets boring sometimes. That's why I keep myself occupied with a lot of campus events. I just got back from a tutoring workshop held by my biology fraternity. So that's been really fun. And yeah, at first it was really hard to adjust, you know, because not only is the environment different, but just the social life is different. You know, Americans, even Asian Americans, don't socialize like Indonesians do. We have like different social cues and everything.
Okay.
So it has been a journey to figure that out. And I think, you know, since I've been getting involved in a lot of stuff, I'm starting to like slowly learn how to fit in and like, yeah, thrive here.
So tell us a bit more about your living conditions. Are you living in a dorm? Are you living by yourself? Do you live with your parents? Are you with your friends? And how has been your fasting experience there for this last 2 years that you've been living in Illinois, United States?
Yeah. So right now I'm living in an apartment with 3 other students. They're not Indonesians, they're from India, but since we're all international students, we can all click with each other. And for the last year, I actually lived in a dorm, so it was much easier because we have free access to food. Yeah, so if you live in a dorm during your freshman year, it's mandatory that you get a meal plan. So I can just grab food and eat it for sahur and eat it for iftar. There's no problem there. The problem is right now that I'm living alone, I mean, not in a dorm with no meal plans, I have to like schedule my meals ahead of time. I have to buy stuff in bulk, and it's been a fun learning journey. I learned how to cook a lot.
Oh, really? Like Indonesian food, or what kind of food are you cooking by yourself there, Keisha?
And how do you manage to cook there? Like you have a full kitchen, and how do you manage all the logistics during this Ramadan? That certainly is a little bit different than, you know, your daily rituals.
Oh yeah. being a broke college student, of course, I have to like budget. So I can't really go all out on the Indonesian food. International ingredients here are expensive. So, what I manage is I look up on Reddit, like what's the most filling food, like what lasts you the most during Ramadan. And they said oats, yogurt, fruits, vegetables. So I just get like the basic food. As long as my nutrition needs are met, I'm happy. I don't need like really delicious Indonesian food, though I would really love to have some, but I can just get them at like these iftar events that Indonesian communities have. So we had one 2 weeks ago, and it was really nice to finally get to taste Indonesian food. And I'm hoping when Lebaran comes, I can get some ketupat and opor.
That sounds really
Oh,
nice.
okay.
So using a startup term, it's bootstrapping.
That's right. For now.
For now, yeah.
Now, Keisha, may I quickly ask, what time is it right now in Illinois?
It's 8:30 p.m.
8:30 p.m. They're still in yesterday time, actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're
so 8:30 p.m. Have you break your iftar, or are you still
Yeah.
doing fasting?
Oh yeah, Maghrib was 1 hour ago. So
1
I
hour
have
ago.
eaten.
Okay.
And what time did you start fasting there?
It was like 5:30-ish.
5:30-ish until
Okay. Yeah,
8-ish.
quite long,
Yeah.
but yeah, I'm sure you've
Doable.
you've accustomed to it after 2 years living there. I'm also curious, actually. I mean, you mentioned that you live in rural Illinois,
Yeah.
so I don't imagine it having a large Muslim community. But are there any other Muslims that you can, share your experience this with? Is there like even a mosque there where you can go to
Yeah.
do Taraweh, for instance? Like, how do you do your praying rituals there at Illinois, USA?
Yeah, so this is actually what I like about Ramadan here. I mean, of course, it's not really good without family and everything, but because we're such a minority here, you can really feel the community spirit, you can really feel the Muslim community come together to support each other. So my apartment is actually close to a mosque, and I go there regularly, and sometimes people, not sometimes, all the time, people would just bring in food for us to have for like iftar, and then we'll just eat together on the mosque floor. And I also have an Indonesian friend who is Muslim who I also like to frequent the mosque with. She's actually at the mosque right now, but I had to like excuse myself for this.
That's good to
Okay,
hear. So
yes.
you mentioned earlier that it's a small community, but there's some Muslims there in the area as well. Some are Indonesians and some are from other countries. So tell us a little bit about your friends from other countries besides Indonesia. How's your relationship with them, and what have you learned from them during this Ramadan month?
Oh yeah, I learned so much about different cultures. There are, Pakistanis, there are Bangladeshis, there are, of course, the people from the Middle East. And what I've learned from them is that, you know, just how in some ways they're strict about the religion and in some other ways they aren't. So, for example, like I didn't know you can just not wear mukana. Just as long as you're covered, it's fine. So like a
Okay.
lot of people would just pray with just their hijabs and full coverings on, but no
Yeah.
mukana. So when I went there to pray with my mukana on, they were like, "Oh, that's so pretty. That's beautiful." I'm like, "Oh, thank you." They just pray like that,
That is really
and
Okay.
interesting.
and especially during Lebaran,
Uh-huh.
they will go all out. I mean, like us, I guess, but not to this extent. They will full on wear their traditional costume
Uh-huh.
and everything. As in Indo, I feel like we like to show off our mukanas, but since they don't do that, they don't wear that. They just wear really fancy abayas, as you call it.
Okay, so Must be quite interesting to
Yeah.
actually be able to learn about other cultures and how other countries, Muslim countries in particular,
It's interesting
celebrate
to see,
Ramadan
you know,
month.
to get a different lens,
Yeah.
to see your own religion,
Yeah.
but from a different lens,
From a different culture.
different culture
Yeah.
from people from different countries.
Yeah.
It's really interesting.
I'm also actually quite curious to know how you adapt your studying schedule in your campus with your Ramadan rituals, because of course the people in your campus mostly are like your professors, your
Yeah.
fellow students, especially Americans. Like they don't know anything about how people do Ramadan, how
Yeah.
people do fasting. So do you get to explain to people about what you need to do, and are they like accommodative to your needs, especially during Ramadan?
Oh yeah, I don't know if I can speak on behalf of all the professors, but I feel like everyone's been really accommodating. Of course, they don't know the details. They know that we have to fast. They know we have to not eat and not drink. So I feel like there's like a lot of leeway because, you know, everyone in here, I mean, as long as I know, everyone in here is so understanding and accommodating. So for last year, there was this one time where I felt really weak and I just couldn't finish my assignment on time. So I just emailed my professor. I'm really struggling with fasting and finishing my assignments on time. Is it okay if I get an extended deadline? And they're very understanding. They just like, yeah. So I feel like in terms of other people understanding, it's been really well. It's been really good.
Okay. So, Keisha, speaking about communities, are you part of an Indonesian organization there as well? And how is your involvement with these organizations?
Yeah, I'm actually the social media graphic designer for UIUC's Indonesians Association, and I'm also the marketing director for the National Indonesian Association. So I get a lot of Indonesian exposure, of course, and yeah, it's been really nice. We hold a lot of events for Iftar and Halal Bihalal and Lebaran, so there's no shortage of Indonesian interaction here.
Oh, right. Wow. A biology student who's
Yeah.
also a graphic designer. Must be quite busy down there, Keisha. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
One question that I want to apologize first for asking you this, because this might get you a bit homesick. Sorry about this, Keisha. I just want to know, what is the one thing you miss the most about Ramadan in Jakarta now that you're so far away from home?
Oh, for sure, it's the family meals. Not even just eating them, but also, you know, preparing them at home together, cooking together with my mom and my sister, and then just getting together as a family during dinner, during iftar. And it's always like the pattern too. Like, I know it gets boring, but now that I don't have it, it's not boring anymore. I really want it. It's always ada gorengan, and then there is like rice and lots of sides. But now that I'm here, I have to cook my own food. It's just what I can manage for the day.
So, what's the plan now? How many years are you going to stay in the United States? And in the future, are you planning to get work there before you come back home to Indonesia? So, what's the plan?
So I'm hoping to stay here for 4 years. And I'm hopefully gonna get my master's and hopefully a PhD at the same time. There are programs like that, so I'm hoping I could get into one. So yeah, I'm gonna be continuing my study here. For work, I don't really know, but it would be great. But I also, you know, my point of coming in here is to improve the biology and the research scene in Indonesia. So I can just come home, you know.
All
So
right.
at least 2 more Ramadans
Two more
in the
Ramadans,
United States.
yeah.
So maybe one last question. What are your suggestions for fellow Indonesians, probably around your age, that has dreams to go to the United States to do studies? What would you suggest to these Indonesians?
For me, I'm actually part of a scholarship from Indonesia. It's called Beasiswa Indonesia Maju. I don't know if they're still doing it, but for me, it's just, you know, dream hard, um, if you're good at something, pursue it. Like for me, ever since I was in elementary school, I've loved biology, and I think that I'm good at biology, so I kept on pursuing it till OSN, till the Olympiads and the nationals, and that's how I was able to get this scholarship. So I feel like if you want to chase your dreams overseas, you chase your passions first. Um, Become really good at something, and then show the world that you are really good at this and they need you.
That sounds
Aw,
amazing.
Thank you,
so
Keisha,
much
for the
such a
tausiah this
Yeah.
morning. That was amazing.
ending the interview on such a positive note. So yeah, scholarships the way to go.
Yeah. Thank you, Keisha,
Thank you,
for
Keisha.
sharing with us your time and your stories. All the best for the rest of Ramadan, and happy Idul Fitr ahead.
Take
Thank you
care,
so
Keisha.
much.
Bye bye.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you for having me.